Hi everyone, my name is Keely and I'm the owner and creator here at Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for another soap making video. Now a little while ago I made reference in another video, which I'll leave a link to up in the top right hand corner, that there was a soap coming out and it almost made me cry while making it, and that is this soap. Today I am using coconut cream from Aussie Soap Supplies, and I had such a beautiful vision of what this soap should look like in my mind, and it really wasn't working the way I wanted it to. It was yet again another really badly misbehaving soap, and because everything was just going so completely horribly wrong, it did almost make me cry, to the point that I was just over it by the time it got to actually cutting this soap. But now that this soap has actually been sitting on the curing rack for 4 weeks, I am pretty happy with it. It's really not as bad as what I first envisaged. It was just one of those sort of couple of days where everything was going completely wrong with fragrance oils, and this was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. But it has now come up really quite well. The only thing is the scent, it has really faded in it. I wouldn't say it was a coconut cream. It's probably more along a coconut marzipan-y sort of smell to it. But as you watch the video, you'll see how upset I am getting with it. But now I am actually quite liking the soap and how it's turned out. Let's go and see all the dramas that unfold while I make my coconut cream soap. Alright, so let's get this soap started. I'm actually split my oils up into the different buckets that I want, and I'm going to start with my base layer. Now the reason I'm doing it this way is because we're going to be doing a ghost swirl in the white layer, and to achieve a ghost swirl you actually need different water strengths in your sodium hydroxide water solutions. So what I've actually done for this soap this time is I've actually used a slightly higher water than what I usually use. I usually use 32% of the weight of my oils. This time I have upped it up to 35% so we can actually make a ghost swirl using 28%, and it will actually be a lot more visible than if I stuck to my usual 32%. So I'm going to do what, as I always do, pour my sodium hydroxide solution into my oils here. I'm then going to mix it up, split it out for some colours. I'll do a little bit of an in the pot swirl and then pour it into my mould. So the colours I've used, I've got some Mocha Mica in there, and this one is some Latte Mica. This is my fragrance oil, and we're using Coconut Cream, which is one of the new ones from Aussie Soap Supplies that I did a unboxing of. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this one does. It says there is no vanillin in there, so it shouldn't discolor. I've seen a couple of people actually now use it, and it gets a slight creamy color to it, but that's okay. I don't mind if we get that sort of look. It has got notes of coconut, vanilla and almond, and it's also meant to have notes of papaya and cocoa bean in there as well. It does thin the soap out, which is great, so we can do this in the pot swirl. Just hopefully the layer will set up nice and quick for us. So we're going to move on to the white layer of this now, and as you can see, I've got my oils and my lye solution split up. So I've got 900 grams of oils here, and I've got 500 grams in that one. In this distilled water and sodium hydroxide solution, I have got 35% water weight to oil weight, and in my smaller one here I've got 28%. And the idea is having those two different water weights will actually give the soaps very different colors, so you'll see like this ghost swirl pattern through. We're not going to put any color in here, we're just going to go with the natural color of this fragrance. So as such, I am going to throw my fragrance oil in straight away. I'm then going to pour in my sodium hydroxide distilled water solutions into each of their buckets. We're going to mix it up, and then I'm going to pour most of this onto my brown and then do a drop swirl with this one. So let's get to it. it looks like we have got a change of plans here. This actually says that it performs really well in cold processed soap, does not rise, does not discolor, does not accelerate, and well, I'm really sorry to say, but that does rise, it does discolor. Not happy. So this is just going to get plopped in and then poured into the soap mold. So I've spent about 5 minutes trying to film doing a top on this soap and then keeps moving it out. I'm not happy with it. It's definitely not coming together as it should. The texture of this is horrid. It feels like mashed potato with chunks of apple in it. Every time I try and do something, it just looks terrible because of the actual texture of the soap. Now, I was expecting that the oil that had, or the soap batter that had the less water in it, to actually move quicker than the other bucket of oil. But I wasn't expecting it to set up like it did. I'm really, really not happy. And I don't think it had anything to do with the fact that I put my oil in, or my fragrance oil in, straight away. I don't think it would have made any difference from seeing what happened in the brown layer, because that did actually set up really quickly as well. That's all I'm going to do to the top, because if I try and do it from either side, it looks awful. The texture of this, it really does look like mashed potato, really grainy. So I am hoping this is going to set up nice. I definitely don't hold out much hope for it. That is all I'm going to do for there, but I am going to put on my little coconuts. My aim was to do a kind of peak in the middle and put a coconut on each side, but I just honestly don't think that is going to work. So we are just going to put one little half of a coconut in the top of each soap here. Now, I'm going to be really honest here. So I got in the Aussie Soap Supply Fragrances, was really excited that we had another company here in Australia actually producing oils and producing some really fun sounding ones as well. So I got in quite a few of them. I have now soaped with 2 of them. Now the first one I soaped with, I haven't yet put the video up. It may have gone up by the time I do decide to put this one. It was the Birchwood. It's faded. The scent has completely faded out of it, so I'm not happy about that. I don't think that coconut's going to stick. Let's get some soap into it and hold it in there. So I'm not happy that that is completely faded out. So I've now soaped with this one, and it is a very, very misbehaving fragrance, even though it says it's not. And I think that's the only 2 I have soaped with so far. I have been told that the cashmere silk, which I do absolutely love, and I'm actually currently using that in whipped body butter, that does accelerate in people's soaps of certain recipes. So I'm not going to even attempt to waste that one in a soap, because I think it will accelerate in mine as well. I don't think it had anything to do with the fact that I put my fragrance oil into my oils and then mixed. I don't think I could have done anything to stop how quick this one has actually moved on me. So at least I now have coconuts for another soap, so that is a positive out of this. Alright, so here is coconut cream all made up. The little coconuts do look super cute in it. It'll be interesting to see what we have got on the inside. As I said, it is going to be a ghost plop. Definitely not a ghost swirl in this one, which is a shame because I had such high hopes for this design. But at the end of the day, in about, I would say, because this one moved so quick, in about 16 to 18 hours, this will be soap and it will still clean. So we'll be back in just a moment and we'll have a look at what we have got on the inside. Alright, so I'm just going to bring you in for a little bit of an update of this coconut one. It's been sitting here for about 15 to 20 minutes. And can you see, if we zoom in a little bit here, let's see if it will go. There it is. Can you see those little droplets forming around the coconut there and those dribbles? I am pretty sure that is the fragrance leaking out. This one is getting super hot. I'm going to have to watch this one, and I may even have to pop it into the fridge if it gets any hotter than what it is. It's certainly going to go through a gel phase, so hopefully our little ghost plip plop will show really well. Alright, let's cut into coconut cream. As you can probably hear, I am not impressed. Don't really want to cut it, but you know, it's still soap. I have got these massive air pockets all around the edges. I'm hoping that I don't have them in the middle. I can easily fix the ones on the edges. Well, I don't know if I actually can with this one. This soap is so hard, I don't think I'm even going to be able to use that trick of using the ends to fill in all the gaps. So this may be one of those that you'll find on the website in a few weeks time at a discounted price, because it is, I'm just so disheartened by it. I really am. To me, it doesn't smell like coconut cream. It has a very almond sort of smell to it, more like marzipan, and it is actually quite weak. I'm having to do it on my single bar cutter because I've completely misplaced that coconut in there. So this has just been a complete and utter disaster. But the inside, it's definitely not what I wanted, and we definitely have a ghost plop. So these sort of lighter patches that you're seeing around there, they are the soap that had the 28% water content, and then the darker sections are where I've had that 35%. Love the bottom of it with all that swirl. That was meant to be nice and swirly like the bottom. I mean, I suppose it's not too bad. I can't be too harsh. It's just that is really ugly on that side, but that's not too bad, I suppose. But I'm still not a fan of this fragrance oil. Usually if a fragrance oil moves really fast, people say put it into your oils first. I actually think that made it move even quicker. I have watched a couple of videos by Aussies who have used this coconut cream, and they have all experienced it accelerating. Oh, that one's pretty good inside as well. They have all said it's accelerated. You can see it on the computer screen that it accelerates. I put it into my Patreon Facebook group, and quite a few of the Aussies in there came back and said that they too had experienced it moving, or had heard of Aussies that had had troubles with it. Some saying that it pretty much seized up straight away in their recipe, and others saying they just had to move really quick and is, you know, really good for layered soaps. I don't think I'm going to try it again. Get that bit of brown coconut off there. It's not too bad on the inside. Definitely not what I had envisaged. I had such high hopes for this fragrance oil, as I've said. It's not smelling too strong, and I would say a lot of that is to do with that fragrance leakage that I showed while it was actually sitting here saponifying. It did all go back in, and there doesn't seem to be much sort of effect from that fragrance leakage while it was setting. That's going to cut that coconut completely. I didn't do a very good job at lining them up. What am I going to do? I'm just going to cut through it, I think. That's just exactly how I feel about this soap right now. Oh dear, it's not often I have a complete and utter, well, I suppose, I'm going to have to stop saying that. It's not really that much of a fail. It's just not what I wanted, and not what I was expecting of it. But at the end of the day, I still do have that ghost sort of pattern in there, so I will stop complaining. I will see if I can try and fix up some of these air pockets, but as I said, it will probably appear on the website at a discounted with price. So make sure that you are following along with me on Instagram to see when this one actually may hit the shelves. I am going to actually turn this around because it's this coconut here that I put in completely the wrong position and have messed up my entire cutting on here. So we're going to start at this end, going to trim off the end, which will become a sample piece, and then we'll start cutting those bars again. So let's see if it, actually it might, oh, look at that. It is soft enough to break up. So what I tend to do when I off that end piece, if I've got air pockets like that, let's get one of these that have got a big one on. Oh, none of those have got really big ones. Right, so if we go from off this end one, what I do is I get a piece of that soap and I kind of push it into the gaps, mold it and smooth it out, so you end up with that nice full bar of soap. That obviously needs a bit more in there, but I'm glad to know that that piece on the end is actually going to be pliable enough to fix all these air pockets. So it may not be a complete and utter disaster. I suppose we all have to have at least one soap that we are truly not happy with. I did say at the end of making this one that I had tried 2 of the Aussie Soap Supply fragrances. That's actually not true. I have tried 3 of them, and all 3 of them I have not been super happy with. So at the moment I'm contemplating whether I want to use the other 6 that I have sitting up here in soap, or if I want to actually put them into moisturizers and things like that instead. But anyway, I'm going to keep cutting this soap, get to the end and see what we have got here. I hope you have enjoyed watching my soap and had a good laugh at it with me. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one, and I will see you then. Bye.